with that 5/4 body onto it. Now we know that it's going to get combated. GC's kind of deciding which way he wants to actually have onto this. The Abusive Sergeant's not going to kill it, but he has a damage to throw an extra 3 onto face. He does have 9 in hand without the Abusive Sergeant, and just like that, though, he is going to decide to actually throw down that Doom Guard just to get some extra body onto it, as well as killing off that Tomb Pillager. And because that minion was attacked, the Shadow Strike's not going to matter, but that's going to be a huge pickup there. Coin coming in handy as SI Agent pulls through all the way. Ooh, actually, no, he doesn't even have to throw down the SI. He can just Fan of Knives and get a full clear here.
Indeed he can, yeah, because of the spell power. So that's what he's debating on right now. Do I want the minion? Do I want the clear? Looks like he's going to go with the minion because he has a weapon established to clear off the abusive. If he didn't have the weapon established, you're definitely going to see Fan of Knives.
And you know he's top decking too. He knows that this top deck is what's happening, so he's perfectly content with just saving the Fan.
And the Fan. The huge save on the Fan. Very well played by Micros. He might have even been playing around that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was in the back of his mind and wanting to have an answer for Tentacles.
Yeah, that is really, really big. And again, though, we're going to get to see the awkwardness in the hand here coming out, or in the deck, should I say, coming out of Micros, because there is a sprint available in his hand. So, peekaboo, he says. But like you said, like Trump loves to say, the value coming in huge as that Fan is really, really big. And with the backstab as well, that's going to be... Does he have... No, he doesn't have lethal quite yet. Almost there, but still, it's a lot of damage that he's able to pump down onto this.
Yeah, he's... Let's see what he's going to do here. So he can set up for... He wants to clear off this board while setting up lethal for next turn. So let's see if we can pick out the best way to do that. Obviously, you're going to backstab the Direwolf Alpha. So that's a pretty good place to start now that you've seen what you're going to draw for Sprint. Following that, you could even... It wouldn't be unacceptable to sap one of these. I would kind of be surprised to see it because it's not a whole lot of pressure. You've seen, as you pointed out earlier, we've seen a Power Overwhelming get discarded. A lot of the buff cards are already out of the way. You can clear one off with just your face and the SI7 and still set up the lethal if you want to do that way. But it looks like he's going to go for a full clear here, so aggressively.
Well, I mean, because what else can kill him at this point? I mean, you're sitting at 9 mana, so you have to have perfect draw. You have to draw into either your other Power Overwhelming or Leroy, and then tap for the other half of that combination. And so the chances of that perfect combination with, at the time, 15 cards in the deck, very, very difficult spot that you put yourself in. And now, seeing the ever lovely Twin Emperor Velcor pop up, that is going to be game. There are other setups as well that he can be able to do to finish this off.
You gotta play it.
Mainly being that, but no, just has to hold on to it. And by golly, by God, that's gonna be the Cthulhu Rogue picking up a victory. I'm here sitting here going, did that actually just happen?
Yeah, well, he played very little Cthulhu cards. We should point that out.
He did. And it wasn't a Reno because we did see multiples of the same card, so it wasn't actually the Reno Cthulhu that we were thinking as a possibility. It was just straight up Cthulhu Rogue, but it pulls out a victory, and that's something that a lot of these Cthulhu decks can kind of pull up because you've got the Disciple and some of the other techs that you have into it. With that archetype, you have different tools of removal for it. Now, he only used a couple of them, but still being able to maintain that board presence early was definitely helpful for him being able to pick up that game. And so now, coming into Game 4, all is not dead here for Micros as he pulls another game out of GC.
Yeah, there's the Alec here. Oh, he's not going to save it. MVP of the one match, but he's going to have to go back in the deck. Hopefully he can pull it out if he needs it in this matchup. And both of them out to an okay start. Micros' start is made a lot better by the fact that he's got Argent Squire into the coin for the Feral Spirits. If he didn't have that coin, his turn 2 would have probably just been a Hero Power, or maybe even the Flame Tongue, which doesn't feel super great. Especially because
there is going to be a little bit of a rebuttal here for at least one of those Feral Spirits because of this 3/2 body that you have come thrown out onto things. But at the same time, it is a solid setup here by GC because having this 3/2 body of the Flame Imp available without any ability to contest due to the Voidwalker's presence, now you kind of have to make a decision of, okay, do I go for Feral Spirit, overload myself without a coin, and then know that at least one of these minions are going to die?
I like this a lot
Or
better. Yeah.
do I go with more of a safe clear, decide to buff up the Argent Squire to kill off the Void Walker, and then go for the Coin Rock Biter to just establish a little bit more board control? And that's exactly what Micros is going to do. Definitely the smarter choice.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this. It does get. I wouldn't even say it's a huge punish. It does get slightly punished by an abusive, but as we know, GC doesn't have it, so looks like that is gonna live around. That Flame Tongue Totem's gonna survive, and he's gonna be able to protect it next turn with the Feral Spirits.
So, good little series of events here coming out of Micros. There is the option to throw down the Forbidden Ritual, because if at least one of them survives, then you have the ability to throw down the DID next turn to kind of help make things a little bit better. But at the same time, it's still going to be a great setup and extreme value coming out of these Spirit Wolves, because it's going to force a huge clear off of minions onto this. Great pickup by the Direwolf to kind of help things up. Hopefully he's going to get a good juggle onto this. Nope, doesn't have it. 25% chance. Always going to go face for him. So they are going to get cleared up, but that is going to remove a lot of those tentacles onto this. And the Flame Tongue Totem stays alive. And without really any real clear, you can Rock Biter down either the Knife Juggler and the Dire Wolf. Which one would you throw down in this sense, seeing those two?
Definitely get rid of the Knife Juggler. Absolutely. It has a bigger impact. Normally they're not going to have charge from the Warlock, so you're not too worried about the buff effect of Direwolf Alpha at this time. Whereas the Knife Juggler is sticking around, it gets the juggle off from every minion that the Zoo player is going to throw down. So I like the decision to get rid of Knife Juggler there.
And so now, turn 5, you have some options. You can either Doomhammer, you can throw the Hex down if you want to try to get something down. Instead, though, was that a misplay?
I don't know. It might have been.
He ended turn before the second attack, so that's 2 damage lost. And in these kind of matchups, especially with lack of heal that we've seen from both of these decks, that 2 damage is a huge swing. So this might end up costing Micros the game if it does end up dragging out to these last second attacks.
Yeah, that could be. He might be trying to save the charge, but it's unlikely. So it could have been a scenario of you queue things up, very quickly, and then click the end game, and then realize that it didn't actually get queued up, which is unfortunate for him. He is able to clear off 2 of these minions, though. What do you think about hexing the Dark Iron Dwarf versus the Imp Gang boss? What would you hex here if you were going to go for the hex?
I think in this situation, you have to go for the Dark Iron. Because of the extra damage that it provides, because you still have Feral Spirits in, you still have Lightning Storms available as well. Like, you have other things to clear those little small minions that it pumps out, and so you just want to stop as much upfront damage as possible. He does decide to Totem, so he's not going to end up being able to use the Hex, and he can clear either one of these, but he's going to take a lot of face damage. And what we can see out of GC's hand as well, there's the Dire Wolf, so that's going to come down for sure. Allow the Imp Gang boss to clear out the Flame Tongue, but that's going to be now a good 5 damage to his face. Does he actually have... Oh, there's a power
with
moment. That's lethal.
One. I think he's 1 off. So he's got 6, 7, 8. So he's got 8 plus 8. He's got 16 damage.
16, wow. 1 off lethal. And so he has no reason to overcommit or to go anything crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if he just throws down the Void Walker, leaves it, keeps this other combo in his hand, and kind of forces the face trades here for Micros. So the decision by Micros here not to Hex is going to come up huge, because that was an extra 4 damage that you had available. That's just going to be a huge setup to come onto things. But now you can kind of get a little jiggy with it if you want, because you can still play... you can throw the Tuskar down, as well as the Totem. You get a taunt. Now you can throw things from below down to try to get something off onto it. Ooh, Mana Tide. So that's going to prolong the inevitable a little bit. But wait, is it though?
Well, he didn't use a Hex here. That's the important thing. So he went with the Tuskar Totemic over the Hex, and that might cost him here. So, in fact, let's see how much damage. So he can get through the thing from below by using one of the Power Overwhelmings. Get through the other taunt by using 2 damage. So he would have 4, 6, 9 plus a power overwhelming. He would have had 13 damage plus the Soulfire, so it would have been enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there we are.
And that's going to give game number 4 to GC, and he will be the Elephino Open number 26 champion. So very well played by both players.
Yeah, very well played, and just a very unfortunate situation that you put yourself in on this level. One misplay, one kind of, not necessarily miscalculation. I don't think that it was as much of a miscalculation coming out of Micros, more of just a misevaluation. He felt that he could last a couple more turns and kind of hope that he could put himself off in a little bit of a bigger sense. But instead, he's conserving these resources, and up against a zoo that is just able to throw down a huge amount of damage and create a large amount of tempo, you have to be able to, use those resources when necessary to really protect that face damage, especially due to the fact that he wasn't able to draw the lightning storm. So kind of an unfortunate situation for Micros, but all the same, going to be a very successful win there by GC, picking up the cash prize, picking up the points, and coming away victorious.
Yeah, that's an excellent point with the lightning storm. That would have been huge for him. And as we saw several matchups, when the shaman was able to pick up that lightning storm and stave off the pressure from their aggro opponent, whatever it may be, they were able to take that victory. When they weren't, the aggression of the shaman, the warlock or the hunter, or I guess the aggro shaman, would just proved to be too much, and those taunts just weren't enough with the buff cards of power overwhelming, abusive, dark iron dwarf, what have you.
Yeah, and so with that, GC, again, going to be able to take those 3 points. And for those of you looking to get into competitive play, for those thinking that you do have what it takes to compete with these high-level players, with these pros, whether you've been grinding the ladder, studying the game, everything in between, definitely suggest you to check out open tournaments such as the Elephino Open. Any way that you can get noticed, put your name out there. That's how a lot of these players have really started, that you see now on the big stage. It all comes down to these little tournaments and creating consistency and showing that you can win in these constructed style conquest, last man or last hero standing, any of these kind of formats. Just being able to bring a deck, whether it be something you crafted yourself or kind of these net deck styles, and really showing your worth and your ability to perform in the competitive sense. So definitely a suggestion for those of you that are interested in kind of getting your name out there and trying to be a little bit more competitive in the Hearthstone scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Get those points, get qualified in the top 128, make the summer preliminaries, and who knows what could happen from there. So we see a lot of players that aren't like popular streamers that do extremely well and get their names out there in those summer preliminaries, and they got to get points for it somehow. And this is one way to do it. So you can check out strivewire.com, check out their open tournaments, and if you want some help in these tournaments, you want to become a professional Hearthstone player, esports competitor, then Gamer Sensei has some individuals and some tools to help you do that. So you can check out their website as well, and see if your ambitions of becoming a pro e-gamer can come true. That'd be really awesome. We'd really like to see you in some of these tournaments.
Without a doubt. But with that, guys, thank you so much again for coming out to the Elephino Open number 26. We had the staple point of the broadcast. That's going to be Mr. Elephino himself. My name was Jump. You guys can check out our social media below if you want to drop us a follow, find out. And the next time we're going to be delighting your ears and having you enjoy our faces on the camera. But outside of that, congratulations again to GC as well as all the other competitors in the Elephino Open number 26. You guys have a good rest of the night.
All right, thanks. You too.